as usual, I picked some random items, nothing specific. It's just a small portion of what we sold in our one anchor store. As I said, we have 2 anchors and a premium as of now. We are thinking about hard about putting in a 3rd anchor store and transferring all the items. We've done some tests, so we know it'll work. But again, we're just going to go over to the screen today, and I'm going to show you some more of what we sold this week. Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor. Today is Sunday, so I've got another What's Sold on eBay video coming up. Okay, now the first item. Again, I picked like 30 items this week. Yesterday, again, I don't know what it is. This is 2 weekends in a row. We had some Monster Day sales. Yesterday, on one account alone, we almost did 2,000, and on the other one, we did 1,600. So, you know, it was a pretty darn good day. $3,600 or just over, actually, for the 2 main accounts that we use. So I sold a ton yesterday. I had one person buy $428 worth of cards. It was like 32 cards or something along that line. And then I had some other people buy a bunch of photos. I had another person buy some more trade cards. And I sold quite a few. I sold 6 of the ones I showed you in the last haul video, the very last haul video, and I'm going to show you those in just a minute here as well, too. But here's an item, the first item. I've talked about photos. Now, we sell military, movie, TV, anything along that line. I sell quite a few of the actual photos themselves. And these are 8x10s. They have the photo print information that you'd want to put on the bottom of them as well attached. This one sold for $15.52. Again, I list a bunch. I list them really high, and then I slowly lower the price as time goes by. Now, some of these have been up for 9 or 10 months, so I've dropped them down. I had them at $57.50. I dropped them down to $34.50 after, say, I think 4 months, and then I just put them on sale. And I put them on sale a decent amount, just because these sell on average for like $8 or $10. So for me, I'm still making more than the average price on these. And this is nothing special. This is David Ogden Stiers. If you're not familiar with him, he was in MASH, and I believe he actually carried over into the series after MASH, which talked about Klinger and Father Mulcahy, and then I can't remember his name on the show, but he was in MASH as well. He was one of the doctors with Hawkeye and such forth. But anyway, $15.52. Again, I've got like nothing into these at this point since we've sold tons of them. I talk about buttons as well. This was full price, $12.50. It's just a little button. I have nothing into it as well. It's been up for a little while, but I've been selling them. I bought a card of buttons. Well, I bought many cards of buttons for $1 or so a card, and there's 30 or 40 buttons. We've made hundreds off these shirt buttons here. So $12.50 for something I've literally got nothing or pennies into. So anyway, let's move on here. Again, these items are just random items, no specifics. I thought about showing you all what just one gentleman purchased, but they're pretty much the same type of items. Again, collectors collect, so they buy multiple items. That is part of the plus of having many items up in a similar category or similar type of items. Like when I have tons of labels up, you know, or 10,000 trade cards, or, you know, 5,000 postcards or 10,000 postcards, you're going to sell a ton to the same people over and over again when you get that quantity up. You won't see that in clothing. You won't see that in books. You won't see that in video games for the most part, or any of the newer items that people sell, because a lot of those items, you know, it's a one-off type of thing. So I sell in many categories that are multiple purchase categories, like where people would buy more than one item all the time. So anyway, this is a civil air transport. Now, anything that says the cat, it's from the Orient. It's from the Asian general area, China, Japan, Korea area. So most of these do sell. $18.50 this one sold for. Now, I've maybe got $1 or something into it. I couldn't even tell you. This one's been up for a little while. It's probably 9 months worth of listing fees on this one, so 45 cents. But let's move on here. Now, this person here was the one that bought a bunch of a bunch of these trade cards. I'm just showing you the one. This one went for $34.50. When I mark it down, I still include buy it nows because my prices are high on these. This card averages about $10 or so, and you can look it up yourself and see. I still got $34.50 out of this card. So anyway, it's perceived value. It's the fact that they're scarce and people don't really pay attention to looking these up. In this one here, it's got Statue of Liberty. So any of these with Statue of Liberty do sell. And Brainerd and Armstrong alone has a increased value over most typical sewing cards because it's one of the scarcer, not scarce I should say, but one of the harder to find manufacturers of threads. So anyway, let's move on here. Now, this is a retail arbitrage. Now, I've told you I do some. I've got some in several accounts, not just this one, but we bought a ton of these. I've only got one or two left, if I'm not mistaken. And I paid $5.99. Let me think if I remember where I got these at. Oh, geez, I can't remember the name of the store I got these at. Geez, I think it was like not Ross's, Burlington Coat Factory, actually. That's where I got these at, and they were in the toys section. They've eliminated these, a lot of the toys in some of these stores, but Ross's sells them. There's several other stores like this, and I literally only got these. I left my name and number. They got some more in. I got all the ones they had for that price, and I've been averaging around $30 a piece. This one went for $34.50. And I just have one more of this listing left. I don't list a whole bunch all at once because then it doesn't look like it's as hard to find as it is. And again, I've sold some of these on Amazon. I've sold some of these here. I've sold some on a couple other sites as well too. So anyway, it's a good item. Again, I got $5 or $6 into it. We sold it for $34.50. It's a little higher than I usually pay for things, but on retail arbitrage, you're going to have to go up higher on purchase items to do this. And, most of these sell, Sonic alone sells, you don't want just any one. You have to look them all up. You got to scan them and see which ones are worth getting. And this one is because of the articulation points. And it's a better version of Sonic. It's a pretty neat one. It's a taller one than some of the other ones we've sold. It's a 4-incher. So again, these do sell. They're fairly easy to sell. You might sit on them until the holidays if you're starting to get them now. But again, they are good sellers. And again, this is a retail arbitrage item. Let's see here. This one went for $150. It's a scarce item. It's an oddity. And this is the size of a postcard, basically. And it was found with a postcard. But again, I threw out some horrendous price on it. It was up for 5 or 6 months, I believe, or 4 months. And I had some offers on it originally, lower offers. But I took $150 from a gentleman who's bought many, many cards from us. Thousands a year he spends on from our store, and just this type of item. So, and there's nothing to compare it to, and it's not really that fancy either because, and you can see it's 3.5 by 5.5. It's literally the exact size of a postcard, and that's where this came from. And I only had a couple bucks into it, so for $150 I'm fine. Again, there's no comparison. It's from a set of 6 cards. I talked to the gentleman back and forth over a couple week time frame over this card, so I'm pretty confident the $150 was a fairly good offer on it. So anyway, let's see here, and that was one of the ones we sold yesterday in the almost $3,700 day that we had. Again, this is 2 weeks in a row that I did close to 4,000 or more. Last week was well over 6. Last weekend, and this one's a little less, but again, we're way up. Like 30 some odd percent over what I should be right now, just because of these 2 Whomper weekends in a row. Today I already had a ton of offers, so right now, as of just this morning, for what I'm doing today, we're already over my daily average by several $100s. So today is going to be well over 1,000 in sales on just the one account. So we may hit another $2,000 day on across the board on eBay. Hopefully, I don't know what's really going on, but sales for me have been up and up across the board. Now, I talk about Halloween. We're getting close. So these were put up last January, this past January, right after Christmas. Now, I'll throw them up ahead of time because they will sell on and off some of these cards. But this one took just before Halloween to sell. This person bought it for $68.50. I sold it to them for. And not only did they buy this one, but they also bought this one for $68.50 as well. So again, Halloween's coming. So our Halloween cards, as I said, I got new ones up as I was talking about as well. So we've sold some new ones, and we've sold some of the ones that are that have been up for a while. I expect by the end of this month to have most of my Halloween merchandise gone, especially if it's going the way it is. I sold half a dozen yesterday, just Halloween items. We've already sold a couple just this morning, so Halloween is starting to move pretty quickly. I'm glad we had it up when we did. As I said, you want it up by the 1st of September, usually at the very latest for Halloween. I try to get it up before that, but 1st of September is my deadline for Halloween. In perfect example, I got top dollar for these 2 cards. So anyway. Now here's another high dollar one. I sold this one for $575. And I've talked about these as well, too. This one went to a different gentleman, someone I've dealt with before, too. Again, a lot of the people that buy these high-dollar cards I've dealt with before. So I know them. We have a rapport together. I talk about things they collect. I give them heads up when stuff goes up. I'll give them the item number sometimes. And then usually it equates to a sale right after I do it. And this is just a calendar card. So these don't sell as much or as high as some of the other ones. But, that's a pretty decent price. And again, this person has bought from me before. So, that $9.50 price I have on it's just a price I throw out there. It means nothing in the scheme of things. I showed this same card right here. This is the one from my last haul video. I told you it was going to sell. I said I was going to list it immediately, and sure enough, it is gone already in less than a week from the haul day. So, that's what I talk about. I talk about these things. You got to know a lot about some of these areas to have this happen. You have to have a lot of items up in some categories to get the people to come into your store. Let's say you only have a couple hundred trade cards up. You're not going to draw as much attention as someone who has 10, 15,000 like us. We have a large chunk of the market. I may be the person who has the most trade cards up at all on eBay right now. I haven't looked into it again. There's a couple competitors that I deal with. So I do know that, I do have a fairly good chunk of the actual entire market on eBay in this category. But anyway, again, good card, $5.75. So, and this is one of the ones that sold yesterday, as I said. So yesterday was a horrendously good day. Now, again, I talk about newspapers. We've got 40 some odd cents in a listing this one, and I took $24.50 straight out on this one too. Now, again, it was up for 9 months or so. I always say these aren't quick sellers, but I usually get real good money. I spent $5 or $10 on a big lot of newspapers, 60 or so. We've sold 4 out of that lot. Out of my $5 investment with listing fees and all, I still made $45 profit across the board easily. It might even be higher than that at this point, but anyway, these do sell. World War II are usually what I sell the most of. Some newer ones, some Elvis-related ones, Death of Elvis, or somebody famous dying, or something along that line. But anyway, they're good items. Let's see here. Comic books again. I've sold quite a few. I just happened to just pick one randomly to show you. This is a vintage one. This is more like a movie-related one, too. So a lot of those aren't as good of sellers as the superhero ones. But again, I look up everything. So if it's got a potential to sell and I see a large chunk of them selling, I'm going to list it either way. This one was worth listing on its own, so off it went. $14.50 it sold for. And again, I got $1 into it, and it was up for like 3 months, 15 cents in the listing fees at the most. And again, these are just random picked items, nothing special. I talk about religious ones too. I even have some videos in the past about religious and what to look for. So again, I've got like 145 videos or something like that up now, and it literally every one covers topics just like this video or any other video I have. They're all the same type of videos. So if you really want to see some stuff and you're new to the channel, or even if you're not new, go back and look at some of the older videos. I promise you they're going to be just as important and just as good information as the ones you're seeing now. I try to only talk about the information. I'm not going to do any flashy talk and try to show off anything or just be an advertising wing here. This is literally what we do. My money all comes from selling. I still haven't made a dime or seen a check or anything from YouTube at all, or from any promotions or anything I've done. So I'm not making anything off this at this point. Still, I know we're monetized, but it takes a while to get there, and then it takes a while to even see the check even after that. So I'm not banking on any of that now. I love what I do. I love talking about what I do. So this is why we're here. But here's a religious item. I took 15 offer on it. It's small. Who knows what it's worth? It's only worth what somebody wants to pay for it. So I throw high prices out. Average price on these is like $5, $6, $7, $8. So, $15 is double what they go for on average. Tobacco labels. Now, this is from Colombia. I don't remember where the name came from on it. I think maybe it's up on the top or something. But anyway, this is the Colombian Exposition label. It's rather interesting. It's got the logo, I believe, is where I got that information from. But anyway, it sold fairly well, $14.50. Again, this is something I get for $1 or something. Nothing fancy or expensive, really. They're cheap stuff for me. It's a tobacco label. Another tobacco label. Now, if you're not familiar with tobacco labels, the small tobacco label is an outer label. This is an outer label. The one you just saw was an inner label. Those are always the bigger one. The inner labels are almost always worth way more than the outer label, depending on the label, of course. And I've showed you the price guide online, tobacco price what's it called? Cigar and Tobacco Label Price Guide.com, I think is what it's called. It's in another video if I've misquoted the name. But if you type what I just stated, and you should find the site either way, but it lists photos and the whole works for almost every one of the major labels that you see. Now, there's a ton that aren't on that site, but there's just so many labels out there. So anyway, $20 I took out of this one, and that's with the damage, the creases you see. So this is a Boyd and Company, which are scarcer than some of the other ones that you see. Let's see here. Now this is a little hard to see, but I talk about these cast metal figures all the time. I sell, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these a week, and I've showed pictures and some of the quantity of these we have. I've got thousands of die-cast metal figures. Warhammer, role-playing, Dungeons and Dragons, and then just these military style, the 54 millimeter size. So again, I've got literally nothing, 50 cents a piece into this probably. $7.99 is about average for a single figure, or for a lot of, just a couple. And we've cast some of these as well on our own and made, money off of those. So anyway, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I've got 50 cents into this at the most. So, $6.50 or so profit margin off of something. So I'm not really worried when it's something like this. I try not to list much under, say, $5.99 unless it's a real quick turnover. Literally $7.99 is usually where I want to be, or higher on everything. But as I said, $5.99 I will list some cheaper items if I know they're going to sell in quick. And sometimes I won't put best offer if they're $5.99. I'll just put flat $5.99, buy it now, no best offer or anything like that. Anyway. Now this is a miniature one. I think this one I took $20 for. I think I showed these in a haul like 2 hauls ago. And a person bought them both. I think I took 30 on this one as well. Yeah, 30 on this one. So, 50 some odd bucks for 2 of these little things. I've got $1 a piece into them. They have issues. They're not perfect. They've been around the block a little while. They're vintage though, and they're from an area that you won't find the Blue Hole. The person bought them more for the what they are, little miniatures. So anyway, those are good. Don't list those in toys though. List them in actual knives or souvenirs. Now this is an Art Deco postcard. I liked this one. I thought it was rather interesting. It's a different style. I took $34.50 for it. It sold at full cost. It was up for, say, 4 months. So for my 20 cents, I'm very happy. This was $1 purchase, $1 postcard. As I said, most postcards I pay $1, maybe 2 at the most. Some I only spend 50 cents or less. If I buy them in bulk, I can get them for a couple pennies a piece. But when you buy those in bulk, one thing you want to take into account is that, you're not going to be able to sell a lot of them. You'll have to sell them in bulk as well, too. But you're going to make some money out of them. So your cost is going to go up on individual cards, your actual expense on those cards, the COGS on that specific card. Because when you get rid of the ones that you are, going to sell in bulk, it raises the price on the ones that you're actually going to sell. So, but again, it's like $1 I have into these. Another postcard, $17.50. This was up for like a day or less, just a matter of hours. Here's another oddball item here. Now, this is a 6-card set. Loope. Now, Loope's an international company. They print these in foreign languages. I don't buy many foreign language cards, but Loope cards alone are very, very highly collectible. There's thousands of series they made of these, and most of the series have 6 cards. They've been around since the 1870s or 80s. The U.S. versions are always worth more, but I buy them in bulk, and I've talked about this specific bulk purchase. I bought thousands of these cards for a couple $100 just because they were foreign language. The people I bought them from didn't think much of them because of the foreign language. So I did spend some money on them, but a few $100, but it was nothing compared to the quantity I got. So I've got maybe $1 or 2 into this set, and I was very happy with selling almost $50 on this set. And I've sold many sets. I think I've showed many of these sets in here. Some of these sets I've sold as high as $75. So 2 sets of these paid for the entire thousands of these cards that I bought from a collector's estate. But let's move on here. This is another one. This is hand tinted. Now, if you want to do comp, look this card up. Look up Pike Hole, Somerville, and you will see that this card only averages for $8 or so. I took $17.50 on it immediately. It was up for like 4 hours. So again, I look up every single postcard. I price every single postcard that I get. It may take extra time, but I'll price them, and somebody else will be listing them while I'm pricing them, so it's no big deal for me. And I have other people that price. My kids price some stuff too. But let's move on here. Again, this isn't a huge long list today. I just picked a random 25 or 30 items. Now, this one was up for a day. And this is one of those ones where people come in and they put offers in. I had an offer for 10 on this right after I listed it. Now, most of the Ben Franklin cards are very sellable. This one I have never seen, nor have I ever found any comps on it. So I actually countered at 15 for the gentleman. He declined it. So I was like, no big deal. I'll just wait. Somebody else will buy it. He came back in hours later and then made a $15 offer, so I did accept it. So again, I don't worry if they don't take the offer if I counter. I don't mind declining offers because many times when I decline, they'll come back, a couple days later, a week later, and decide that, yeah, they're not going to find that card. Let me just buy it. The price wasn't that bad. So, that's just an example of how offers work for us. Let's move on here. Now, I know I showed this in a video. This was $2. I got like $20 out of it, and I've sold. I think this is actually the last one. I had like 6 or 8 of these pewter and brass items. They're from Hong Kong, so they're vintage, 50s, mid-century. It's like a ginger jar made out of pewter and brass. So again, I sold every one of these I got. So, it doesn't matter if it's this shape or what shape these are. If they're canisters like this, made out of pewter, mid-century, marked Hong Kong or Japan or anything like that, you're going to make some good money out of it. So, $20 out is something that I paid $2 for. My profit's $15. It's not a huge profit, but I've sold every one. So you multiply 15 times 6, and that's my profit off of this. So, this one purchase. So anyway, let's move on here. Now, this one I showed in a haul video too. This was up for 2 hours. The person made a $45 offer, I want to say. I went back and forth with offers, and then I just said I'm 75 is the bottom line. And, I wasn't rude or anything, but, that's pretty much in my head. I'm thinking he can take it or he can leave it. It's from Lottie, California, so I knew it was a good card. It's from a pageant or something there. Its provenance is on the back. The person wrote a statement on it that they were there. So, again, I took 75. I thought they were going to turn it down, and I'd just wait and it would sell it some other time. But next morning I wake up, and sure enough, they took it at $75. So, I may have been able to hold out and made 75 or 95 on it, but, $75 for a dollar card, I'm not going to complain at all. And the person, I'm sure, when I bought this, they didn't know it was from a specific city. They didn't look and see that on the top left there, you can see that this one actually had the person wrote Lottie on it. So Saturday evening, 9/21/1907. So it's a good item here. 1907 pageant. That's the queen of the pageant. I am sure whoever bought it probably knows what this is too. They were actually from the area that this was taken. So anyway, $75 on this postcard. Let's see here. And this is another one that was up for about I'd say 4 hours. They put in a $25 offer on it. Now, this same card sold before, and it went for like $10. So I just went ahead and took it. I know in some cases I won't even look at the offer until the very end, till it's almost ready to expire. This one I was fine with the $25. And the person bought several others is another reason. I don't usually hang on offers when the person put offers on many items. The other 2 items they bought had been up for a while. So in my thinking, I'll be happy to sell those 2 items. They were good offers on them, so I'll let them have this one as well in that offer. So anyway, that's some of what I think of and some takeaways when I'm looking at offers on things. I don't mind declining offers. If they don't take the offer and I say this is the bottom line and they come back with another offer after I say this is the best I can do, I usually decline it. Sometimes I'll just shoot back the same offer saying, again, sorry, this is the best I can do. Half the time I probably still sell it, to that person. Maybe not immediately. They'll come back and get it, just because they'll wait and see if they can find it, and then sure enough, they're not going to find it. This is a fairly scarce card. I'm very happy with $25, especially when, Pacific Grove isn't a scarce city, isn't something that sells very high. So I was pretty happy with this. And again, as I said, when somebody's making multiple offers, that's how I do it. And another philosophy on multiple offers. Let's say they made 10 offers on 10 different cards. I'll take some of the offers on the lower end ones that I haven't been able to sell, in a little while. Say it's been up for nine months or so. I'll take those offers first. That way, they're already committed to purchase something and already have postage invested in that item. And then the other ones, I will counter back trying to get more money out of them, because they're looking at the incentive, knowing that they're already going to pay postage. They've already made the offer, so most of the time I'm able to get a little more money out of them because they're going to save on postage and they wanted the items anyway. So that's just a good philosophy, a good way to look at it. So take the offers that you know are great offers, and then on stuff that's been setting, and then counter on the other ones. It's a better incentive. They're already stuck with the postage, on the first items that you accept them on. So again, there's more philosophies to, buy it now and best offers and things than just what I'm stating. So I may go into some of these specifically in a video as well too coming up, just to address some of the lowball offers people have talked about. They hate getting them and things like that, and what to do about them, and how to increase your options and income off those offers. So anyway, now I've talked about labels, or not labels, I'm sorry, this is an advertising print ad, or is it? Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is a paper label. The print ad looks just like this, actually. So this one went to a person who was actually doing a movie. He paid extra to have it expressed to him, and I sold it for $20.82. So again, this is basically, if this was a print ad that looked just like this, I'd still have sold it for the same price, because a lot of the labels look just like the print ads. So, and this has damage across the board. You can see rips and tears and things like that in it. Very obviously see the damage in it. So anyway, again, I sold a bunch of skating labels. We didn't sell as many last week, but this week I've sold at least one a day, $15 or higher. This one I think I sold for $20 on this one. And here's just another one. Again, this one I took 15. I don't usually go below 15 unless the person buys a ton of them. I may end up dropping these down to $10 around Christmas just to blow some out. I'm not sure yet. I actually purchased some new, not brand new, but some more labels like this from the 40s and stuff just recently. I've got maybe 40 more labels to add. Altogether, I've probably got about 220 or so labels, roller skating labels, still to list. I have been waiting because I don't like to flood the market with too many all at once. So again, this goes into my 90-day plan on holding on to stuff for a little longer until you eliminate some of the stock. Because I've got some dupes in there, and I don't like to put two of the same ones up on these at all. It's just not a good practice. You want it to look like it's the rarest thing, and that there's only one out, that they're not going to find another one, and they'll spend a little more money on one single label if that's the only one up than if there was two or three of the same labels up. They have more options when there's more than one anyway. Let's move on. This is a Marks one. It did sell for $20. This is Nutty Mads is what they're called, and it's marked on the bottom just like any typical Marks, as you can see. Lewis Marks. They're good items. They're not huge sellers. The average price on this one is like $8. And again, look it up if you doubt that. I usually sell these at double what most people do. A lot of the stuff, not because I'm anything special, but most of my items are priced higher. So if they don't spend the time to research what they sell for or see other items, there could have been 10 of these up, and I could have been the highest one or the lowest one. But most people don't pay any attention to that. They'll see it. It's an impulse buy, and then boom, they'll go and buy it. Let me move on here. Now, poster stamps here. These went overseas. These I think I got $34.50 out of these, and they've been up for a little while. They've already been paid for long ago. These were in blocks that I actually tore apart and separated so I could include one of each variety of this. And there's actually one more. There's 5 different colors of each of these poster stamps, and I just been including what I had in lots. And I had a bunch of these. They've all been paid for. I guess at this point I might even mark these down, so you might see some markdowns on these poster stamps as well. I'll go through and mark them down. I don't do promoted listings on any of the collectibles because you're going to sell them regardless. You just need the right person on. Most of these are longer tail items, and doing a promotion is just not going to sell most of these items. Clothing, when there's a ton of the same item up, that's great to do. Or like a video game or a book that there's 100 of up. You're going to have to do a promoted these days to get them to sell. And that's what eBay's banking on, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the way it works for these. Don't do the promoted listings for, these scarcer items at all. You're just going to waste your money. Even if they sell, they probably would have sold either way just because of the scarcity, and it took the right person online to buy them. So anyway, let's move on here. We're getting down. Now, again, I talk about Christmas items. I paid $1 or something for this somewhere at a sale. I think it might even came from a Savers before they closed. I had it up for a little while. We listed Christmas stuff this past week, and this sold pretty quickly, I think. But I took $34.50 on this one. They came in with a $20 offer. I countered $34.50. You know, thanks for your offer. Christmas is coming up, and these always sell. And then sure enough, they took the $34.50. They've already left feedback. I sent it out that day, the day they paid for it. It arrived 2 days later, and there's already feedback on this item. Again, I ship out the same day in many cases. If the post office hasn't come when I get the payment in, I wrap it up that time, you know, or somebody else will. Either way, it'll get pulled and then wrapped up right away. And again, I talked about these. I sell these all the time. Every week I sell probably a half a dozen or more of these. I took $25 for this. I've got $1 or less in every one of these. So every time I sell one, I'm making at least $20 profit on every one of these. But these are, you know, easily 80% profit on most all of these too. So anyway, let's move on here. We're getting down there. Just got a few more to go. Now, this one was in my haul video too. Just the last haul video I did, I sold 5 of these to the same person. And I just threw some random price out there. As I said, I don't know what every one of these is worth because these just don't show up. These are fairly scarce. The gentleman who bought them spent $45 a piece on 5 of these, so you know I made $225 back on these. I think I spent like $20 on all of them, and I still have several more. He already had the other 2, but I'm gonna sell them either way. I'm not really worried about it. It was a gentleman who's bought many things from us before. In fact, I think he bought that the little boy on top the giant turtle, that card there too, the one for $150 earlier in the video. So he alone bought over $400 from us just in a one-day time frame, and I had several others buy that much from us throughout this week. I talk about it all the time. We have many purchases from the same people because of the items that we sell. You have to center in on some niches and then have many items in those niches to be able to do this. And again, having postage charged on all your collectibles helps to push more items because they save money. They may not have wanted to buy 2 or 3 of one item all at once, but they look at it and say, oh, geez, I'm going to save postage. Let me buy 2 of them now, and I'll get them all at once. I'd rather have confirmed purchases than maybe he'll come back next month and buy it from me. So anyway, that all works together to help you. Now this is some die-cut panels. There's 6 individuals. You'll see these a lot of the time separated. I had it in a strip, but it actually fell apart. Now this came from an antique mall on I-75. I had some people ask if, you know, I'd want to meet and maybe do, you know, a walkthrough together with some folks. I may do it. That would probably be the one place that I would do it at. So anyway, like a little get-together with some folks. It's a centralized area, I'm thinking, but I'll look into that. Maybe I'll call it out on a video and see what people think and see how much feedback I get on, you know, how many people would actually want to meet and, you know, try and go from there. But anyway, let's move on. Again, this one sold for $45, and this was up for maybe 9 or 10 months. Who knows what these are worth when there's not a lot of them out there. It was Raphael Tuck, so I knew it would be a decent item. But again, it has some issues. I think one of them has some wear at the top. Yeah, you can see some color loss at the top. So, you know, that affects the value. Raphael Tuck is why it sold. And if it had been connected fully together, it would have probably sold a little higher too. And there might even be a couple missing from this panel. I don't even remember. But you can see it's Tom Thumb, just as it says. But anyway, so $45 on that one. And the last item here, this is another label. And again, the print labels for this look identical to this. You can tell the difference by the material and how it's printed. You won't find print ads that are colored like this for the most part. And I know the source, and there's still some paper, if I'm not mistaken, some minor remnants from the actual underlying paper from the bottle wrap. But again, this one sold fairly well, $20.82. But again, paper labels and print ads look identical, so that's why they sell as well too. And a lot of the print ads from the Victorian era, pre-1900 or even pre-1910, you could include. The print ads look nearly identical to some of the trade cards, so that's why people buy these. People who like quack medicine buy most of these. Most of the print ads that I sell from this era are quack medicine, gun-related or military-related or sports-related. Newer ones, obviously, they change because then you've got soda ads and things like that sell as well, too. But that's what I have for you today. Again, just random items, nothing particularly that I did pick. We've sold high-dollar ones. I've sold higher-dollar items than what I've showed in this video just this week. So again, I'm not just trying to pick specifics or anything. There's a couple cheaper items in here too, but most items I do not sell below, say, $5.99. Usually the lowest item I sell in any given week is $7.99 across the board on average. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Well, there you go. That's what we sold this week. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts on it. I did try to add some comments and stuff on where to get them and what to find and what kind of prices. So hopefully that was helpful too. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon up top to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.